rock master, deep into rich like a blaster, for better than the other. Actual fair, fair, the need to compare, but we fair with upgrade. When I am in here, I'm without no fear.
Hello?
When everybody makes each other y'all the rock master, deep into rich like a blaster, for better than the other. Let me aware with the easy bit of you and I for even here, so I think I'm going to get the weekend up.
Hey, listen that song, listen that, hey, listen that song, listen that, hey.
Welcome to Urban Revolution on Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com. I am your host, One Iam, and generally on my right hand is Debbie, but Debbie has not made it to her seat tonight as of yet. And maybe she'll be calling in or something. She did mention she might call in. So I could be expecting a call from Debbie. This is Revolution Radio, listener-supported radio, and they're doing things different now. You can actually sponsor the show by hitting that donate button. You can actually sponsor Urban Revolution show or any of the other shows that you like. You know, you can sponsor for a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Just hit the donate button and check out the new setup and everything. And, we listener supported. That's how we stay on the air. We appreciate it when you do hit the donate button. I have a special treat tonight. Tonight, my special guest is a member of the Shrines of the Black Madonna Church here in Detroit City. She is a member of the new Marcus Garvey movement and a Detroit Public Schools Board member representing District 6 here in the city of Detroit, which is northeast Detroit. She earned a BA degree in legal administration and an AA degree in paralegal studies, both from the University of Detroit Mercy. She also has been an instructor and a department chair at the Lewis College of Business, Michigan's only historically black college. Please welcome Ms. Wanda Akilah Redmond, would you please? Ms. Redmond, thank you for joining us here on Urban Revolution Show. Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com.
Yes, brother, and thank you for that wonderful introduction.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yes. I would just like to make one correction, though.
Okay.
Once Michigan's only historical black college.
Oh, okay. What do we have now?
We lost another one of our black colleges.
Oh, gone, huh?
Yes. Once Michigan only historical black college.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that.
That's okay, but we're moving on.
Yeah. Okay, yes. Should I call you Miss Redmond, Wanda, or Akilah?
Akilah.
Akilah,
yes. That's
okay.
Fine. Mm-hmm.
Well, being African American History Month and all, I wanted to get into the new Marcus Garvey movement and talk about its present impact on the city of Detroit. But first, I think we should say a little about old Marcus Garvey, or the original Marcus Garvey movement, for the benefit of the listeners that may not be familiar with who Marcus Garvey is.
Yes, Marcus Garvey led the largest black movement that we have known to date. One of the tenets of Marcus Garvey was self-determination. I know one of the favorite quotes that I like from Marcus Garvey is when he says, "Where is the black man's government, and where is his kings and queens of affairs?" He said, "I do not see any. Therefore, I will set out to create them for ourselves." So he was about self-determination.
Yeah, amen.
Yes.
And everybody should welcome that, particularly some of our Republican candidates.
Yes. Well, we seem to be fighting for self-determination throughout the state of Michigan in most of the communities that are predominantly Black or African American. Our communities have been seized or taken over by an emergency manager.
Yeah.
Especially our schools. So, yes, we are in a fight for our rights to self-determination.
Yeah, for some democratic rights, right?
That's right. Still, we are fighting for our rights for self-determination. So
Amen.
these are some of the things that we are engaged in. Excuse me, with the new Marcus Garvey movement. In keeping in line with that, that's one of the tenets that Minister Malik Shabazz uses in terms of conducting his organization, self-determination and home rule and supporting your own community. These are the things that Marcus Garvey was telling us about, and these are the things that are so relevant even in today's world. The message is the same, that we need to support one another, that we need to develop our own economics. Marcus Garvey was preaching that and promoting that, and Minister Malik promotes that within the new Marcus Garvey movement and throughout the city or throughout the world, since we are global now. But these are some of the patterns that we try to pattern our actions after the Honorable Marcus Garvey.
Amen.
Yes, sir.
I'm all for that, self-determination and everything. As a matter of fact, it's Black History Month, and I got a little program on self-determination I'd like to get into. I'll probably get into it next week, though, more so than this week.
Well, Black History Month is every month.
Yeah, exactly.
Every month and every day.
Exactly. Thank you for correcting me.
Yes, sir. It's Black History Month.
Right. I was just mentioning, the official thing that they gave us for African American history, and they usually start off with slavery since it's African American history, and go from there, up till today through the civil rights struggle and everything.
Yeah.
So you really don't get a full picture of how great Black people are.
That's why we have to teach it every day.
Yeah.
That's what's so important about building your own institutions and having control of your own schools and communities.
Right.
You can teach these types. And again, that goes back to self-determination, and that's what we're fighting for.
Exactly.
Yes.
The Marcus Garvey movement was a Black separatist movement. Is the new Marcus Garvey movement a Black separatist movement as well? Like separatists?
Well, I do know the definition of separatist, but what is your definition? Give me your definition.
Like you want to be Blacks by themselves, doing their own thing, and whites doing their own thing, like separated, like segregation.
Well, speaking as the first vice president, do we believe in segregation is what you asked me? Separatism? Is that what you asked me?
Well, is the new Marcus Garvey movement the same as the old or the original Marcus Garvey movement in the way that they were separatists?
Well, when I speak of separatists, when I speak of separatists, I speak of it as separatists in terms of building your own community.
Yeah.
Now, Black folks, I believe, I'm not a historian, but Black folks have always believed in integration.
Yeah.
And I believe that throughout history we have demonstrated that we can live with anyone and among anyone. The question is, can other ethnicities live among and with us?
Right.
So in terms of believing in separatism, I believe that we should take care of home first.
Yeah.
and then we can attempt to help other groups and other ethnic groups, unless it's a decision that we all going to work together.
Yeah.
But in terms of being separatist, in terms of a racist or a racist point of view, no. Or what one would call a racist point of view.
Yeah.
No.
I understand, because like Detroit is not completely like all black, So, there are a lot of white folks here to work with in the city of Detroit. And, I was just wondering.
Black folks in general, I believe, based on my analysis and my experience in life, as I just stated, we're willing to work with almost anyone. Actually, I don't think it's black people that have a problem with working and living with other people.
Yeah.
Based on my understanding and knowledge, it seems as though other people have a problem with us.
Yeah, I would agree with that. With that assessment, Okay, so.
But personally, I like living among my people.
Yeah.
I mean, what's wrong with living among your own people? You can live with other people too, but there's nothing wrong with it either.
Right. Yeah, I just moved to Detroit from Columbus, Ohio. Moved right back up in the middle of Detroit, Michigan, in 2008.
And besides with the waves of movement in Detroit, Detroit is working to populate certain sections of the city, which is drawing people from all backgrounds.
Right.
So it's like I said, it's not a matter of black folks working with other folks. It's a matter of other folks working with us.
Exactly. Okay, so I would say then that the new Marcus Garvey movement is not a separatist movement.
No.
Okay.
In that sense.
In that sense.
But
yeah.
we do believe. Let me put it like this. This is what I'll give you. Just barely. This is the mission of the new Marcus Garvey movement. The mission of the new Marcus Garvey movement is to work to bring into existence the unbeatable coalition of unity and love by fostering collaboration, cooperation, and organization between the people, the police, the politicians, the press, the preachers, and the philanthropic communities to bring into fruition a new, a better, and a just society by working to reduce the muck, mire, misery, murder, and mayhem that the human family is subjected to by the unprecedented levels of crime, drugs, and violence. The new Marcus Garvey movement is about love, peace, power, prosperity, safety, security, social justice, and self-determination for all of the God's people. However, the new Marcus Garvey movement's primary focus is the resurrection, redemption, redevelopment, re-education, and revitalization of the black man, woman, and child first. That's the mission of the new Marcus Garvey movement, to resurrect and redeem and redevelop and re-educate our people first.
Mm-hmm.
Because how can you educate someone else and you're not educated yourself? You
right.
know, how can you go clean up somebody else's house and your own house is dirty? So that's what we're saying. So
right.
when you say, are we a separatist movement, it depends on how you look at it. If you want to look at it that we believe in black people and that we love our people and that we believe that we are an intelligent people, we don't just believe in black people during Kwanzaa time or during Black History Month time.
Yeah.
We believe in black people 365 days of the year. But how can we go clean up somebody else's house when our house is all falling down?
Exactly.
So it depends on how a person wants to define how they want to interpret that.
Yeah. Okay. It sounds, from what you just read, it sounds a lot like the Nation of Islam, sort of. Like there's a relationship there or something. Sort of.
Well, love is universal.
Yeah.
And looking out for your women and children, that's universal.
Yeah.
Men looking out for their women and children and families, that's not unique to a separatist group.
Right. It sounds like a little like the Nation of Islam without the Quran.
Well,
so to speak. You know what I'm saying?
Like I said, if it sounds like that, I mean, like I said, love is universal. Whether it has whether it has a ring of the Nation of Islam, or whether it has a ring of Black Christian nationalism, or whether it has a ring of Jehovah's Witnesses, love is still universal. Period.
Right. I agree. Okay. Now you also joined with the new Black Panther Party, and you kind of got like a joint coalition thing going.
The name is called the Marcus Garvey Movement / Black Panther Nation. And the Black Panther is more of the security arm of the new Marcus Garvey movement. And when we say security, well, quite naturally, we definitely mean securing our leaders, securing our property, and that type of thing.
Yeah.
But we also talk about securing our citizens, securing our babies. The minister's been working on street patrols for over 25 years, calling brothers together, brothers and sisters together. Come, let's patrol our own neighborhoods. Let's keep our own people safe. And
right.
For those who keep up with Detroit politics, many of our police stations have been turned into virtual police stations now, whereas you cannot get direct assistance, eyeball-to-eyeball contact, face-to-face contact with a police officer at the precinct during certain hours. So it's been a long time coming. Services have been being reduced for a number of years. But when we talk about security and securing, we advocate brothers and sisters standing up and securing our own neighborhoods. Quit depending on somebody else to protect your community. And it's obvious that they are pulling back inch by inch, service by service. Our services are being reduction in services and the whole gamut, from police to EMS to lighting, you name it.
Yeah.
So it's becoming more obvious to me and to many others that, okay, wake up. We've known for a long time that we're not going to always have government programs or people in the legislature and people in the legislative bodies who are going to look out for the interests of black folks or Latino people or our special interest groups. They're looking out for the interests of their groups. So it's up to us to look out for the interests of our groups, which is ourselves and our communities.
Yeah. Okay. Now, is this like the Black Panther Party? Is this militia as well, or is it a Martin Luther King type?
Brother, let me put it like this. People need to check us out. We're on the website. We're not about confrontation right now in that sense. The ideology is the same. The militia, look, we can't even clean up one block or take control of one block right now, let alone talking about some militias and all that good kind of stuff.
Right. But that's what
how are we going to have militias? And I'm not saying that there aren't any out there, But how are we going to have any militias for the betterment of our people when we cannot, I won't say we cannot, when we are slow and have been slow but organized in block clubs and community groups to help address some of the issues that confront our own communities. That's what I'm talking about, organizing a militia to go out and do something to somebody.
Yeah. I understand what you're saying, but when you use the name New Black Panther Party or Black Panther Party, people assume militia, armed militia.
Well, you said it right, assume. Once we start reading, the free breakfast programs that many states and cities have, the free breakfast programs, the free clinics that are set up in our communities, that was started by the Black Panthers.
Yeah.
We listen to and are forced in many cases to receive one-sided information or misinformation. Yeah. And when we do not research and study on our own, we just take what has been given to us and go with that and accept it as gospel without facts or inquiry, without even checking it out ourselves.
Right.
Or when you look at the fact that they were about self-determination and self-defense.
Self-defense,
I mean, who in their right mind wants to unjustly be beaten down by anybody?
Right. I understand, and I'm not against militias. As a matter of fact, I think Detroit should have a militia. A good 10,000 man militia or something. That would be fine. But like you said, it's hard to get a block club together.
Yeah, well, once we get our block clubs together, get our people together, and understand that we don't throw couches out in the middle of the street. Brothers, you don't wear your pants down below your butt.
Right.
Sisters, learn how to quit giving it up so easily. Things that really affect the outcome of our survival, our living conditions, our future, our children.
Yeah. So the ultimate goal is just self-determination and to clean up our own situation. That's what the New Marcus Garvey movement.
The ultimate goal is Africa for Africans at home and abroad. We still want our motherland, Africa.
Right. Africa for
Africans. But in the meantime, while we're working to reclaim our continent, what we're working to do is to reclaim the minds of our brothers and sisters, reclaim our streets, re-educate our people. We got to re-educate our people so our kids will stop killing one another.
Right.
Things of that nature. We have much, 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 much work to be done.
Right. When you say Africa for Africans, exactly what do you mean as far as Africans go?
Well, that was Marcus Garvey's quote in
African Americans.
And as many people know, that we do not control the resources on the continent of Africa. And we know that Africa is the cradle of civilization. We know that we have lost control. Once regaining control of what is rightfully ours.
Africans.
Yes.
Okay, when you say Africans, you mean black people.
Yes. The original man and woman.
Yeah.
Okay. Like that.
Now you have white Africans also.
Well, now, brother, you know that there's scientific evidence that proves that civilization started in Africa.
Yeah.
And I mean, you know all that.
Yeah.
I mean, you know.
I mean, we can go back to Lucy and different things like that. And
right. See, those things we're not in opposition to. We're out here, like you said, the New Marcus Garvey movement. We're out here about making a difference,
right,
for our people. Instead of complaining, as the men still would say, instead of sighing and crying and moaning and groaning and everything else that goes along with that, get up and do something.
But why can't the resources of Africa be shared by the world? and the Africans get a fair deal on the sale of their resources and et cetera, and not just be.
You know what? Because see, to me, that's a whole different another conversation. And just for a short answer, as I said, throughout history, Black people have never had a problem sharing. But what we seem to have a problem with is wanting to be on top. See, as long as another group is on top, it's okay. But when it seems or appears that when the black man started talking about being on top and being the one that wields the power, then there seems to be a problem with that. Well, why can't y'all share? Well, that's what we've done for thousands of years. That's how we end up in the situation that we're in now. Sharing.
Yeah. I don't know. It seems like, certain things got taken more so than us sharing. But
all of the above.
Yeah. But I'm saying we don't want to reverse things and start doing, the bad stuff that happened to us, do we? To other people.
Right now, brother, I think we have so much work to do with our own selves.
Yeah.
A 9-month-old baby just got murdered.
Right.
Before that, a 1-year-old baby got murdered. Before that, a 6-year-old girl got murdered. Not counting all the other teenagers that were murdered.
And a 12-year-old was murdered as well.
Right. So we got so many other things to deal with, too.
Right.
So it's about where you're going to spend your energy. Wise people say you got to pick your battles.
Yeah.
You got to crawl before you can walk. Like I said, we got to show and demonstrate that we can take control of our communities and get the garbage off the street first.
Yeah.
Show some discipline.
Right.
How you going to fight a war? How you going to be disciplined? Let's say to us, hey, I can't come and help y'all now. I can't give a donation now. I can't come and buy a dinner to help y'all fundraise now. But brother, when the revolution comes, I'm down. I'll pick up a gun. No, you won't.
Right.
If you won't pick up a broom to help clean up your community, what makes you think you'll pick up the gun?
Exactly. Yeah, I get you there. Is the Marcus Garvey movement like a non-profit charitable organization?
Yes, it is, sir. Donations.
Donations. Right. So you got the 501 type thing going?
Yes, we do have 501c3 type thing going.
Okay. Some of our listeners might want to give you some support or something.
Yes, sir. Well, Minister Malik does have several Facebook sites. And if anyone would like to donate, I will give our address, our mailing address, and we are always willing to accept donations from the community. But if you want to donate, if there's anyone out there who wants to donate, we are bringing in Anthony Browder, and he's going to be talking about countering the negative effects of blacks in the media. And he will be here. He's an author. He's a historian. And this is a fundraiser. And he's going to be here in Detroit Friday, March 30th at 6:00 p.m. at True Oracles of God Ministries, which is at 1500 East State Fair, 6 blocks east of the Chrysler Freeway.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you want to donate to the New Marcus Garvey movement, Black Panther Nation, if you want to come on out and support our efforts in shutting down the drug houses and cleaning up our streets, then we most certainly do welcome you. The minister number, he's always willing to accept phone calls, 313-646-3375, 313-646-3375. Okay, Brother One?
Okay, and did you have an address for the donation?
17301, Livernois.
Okay.
Number 405. 17301, Livernois. number 40548, Detroit, Michigan, 48221.
Okay. Thank you for that, Akilah.
Yes, sir.
So the kind of community work that the Marcus Garvey movement is into, the new Marcus Garvey movement is into, is like shutting down crack houses and different things like that.
Yes, sir. Dealing with illegal dumping, saving our schools, saving our babies. You know, there's just so many social problems that confront us. And there are many groups out here working to help make this world a better place to live. And we, the New Marcus Garvey movement, we're one among many groups out here trying to make a difference. Right.
Are you receiving any federal funding or any government funding or anything as a group?
No.
No?
No.
Well,
donations.
They should have community grants and et cetera that they give in the federal government, maybe city government and stuff like that, that you might want to apply for, particularly if you know, a 501c charitable group.
You know, that's always a good route to go, and yes, that's always available, and that's an option that it's not off the table whatsoever for us at this time. However, you know, in the meantime, you know, we, the community, ought to be able to support some of our groups. You know,
exactly.
And while there's nothing wrong with government grants, there's nothing wrong with them at all. It's our money too. We've paid into the system. There's also nothing wrong, you know, with us being able to support ourselves. Again, because that goes right back to what the Honorable Marcus Garvey talked about and what Minister Malik talked about, self-determined.
Exactly.
We've got to be able, at some time, be able to take care of our own selves. And we might as well get used to it, so we might as well start right now.
Amen. So you're not really, you know, pressed to apply for government grants and et cetera, then? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I wouldn't say that we're not pressed, but, you know, I mean, there's other avenues. You don't always have to go that route. I mean,
yeah.
Again, like I said, there's nothing wrong with it. I'm not saying that we won't.
Right.
But in the meantime, what's wrong with the community supporting the New Marcus Garvey movement?
Yeah. Well, they should be able to. I know there's a lot of money in the city of Detroit, even among the poor. You know, if they would stop buying potato chips, I think you'd be well funded.
Right.
You know.
I mean, there are so many things that we can do ourselves.
Yeah.
You know, not that there's nothing wrong with government grants, but there are things that we can do for ourselves. And it's time that we begin to start taking care of ourselves. Because, like I said, what will we do? What happens if they decide to not give any more government grants? You know, the government did decide to eliminate women who are receiving assistance.
Yeah.
Cut their assistance off. So what happens if the government decides that they're not going to have any more grants? Then what?
Then you have to go on without that source of funding.
Right.
You know, so but while they are giving them, you know, I would be applying and taking advantage of anything that I could, you know, to fund my organization, and I wouldn't be beholden to them, you know, or let them take control of the organization through their donations. But at the same time, you know, you're doing good work in the community. The government should help out. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. I'm not going to dispute that.
Yeah.
You know, whatsoever. Right.
You are listening to Urban Revolution on Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com. I am One Iam, and I am speaking with Akilah of the New Marcus Garvey movement. She's also been elected to the Detroit Public Schools Board here in Detroit City. This is listener-supported radio. I would appreciate it if you hit the donate button and keep me on the radio, bringing you good programming and everything. You can sponsor this show, as a matter of fact, today by hitting that donate button and looking for Urban Revolution and, making that donation. And I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. Let me ask you this. You were elected to the Detroit Public Schools Board of Education. In your school board bio, you give a large part of that success in the run. You get that to the new Marcus Garvey movement and the Honorable Minister Malik Shabazz, who leads the movement.
Yes.
Go
ahead.
Yeah. In what way is a large part of your success? Did they campaign for you and different things?
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's largely his leadership that supplies the footwork that is necessary when you are running a campaign. Yes, and I was drafted by the new Marcus Garvey movement to run. Oh,
you were drafted by the movement to run?
Yes.
For city, Detroit Board of Education, schools, Detroit Public Schools Board of Education.
Yes, and he did, he worked with some others, but it was largely through his efforts in the new Marcus Garvey movement efforts that is responsible for my win.
Right. Okay. That's all good. Obama had a group behind him in his wins and everything that helped him get through. And, it's always good to have campaign workers and everything and people that's behind you to get you in office and everything.
Right. And it's a community effort, though.
Yeah.
It's not just really one group, one, particular person, but he's
spearheaded
it,
I'm just saying that they were the workers out there to get the campaign material out, et cetera, and you got the votes.
Yes, and then there were some other elements that were involved too. But again, I'll contribute the win to the efforts of the new Marcus Garvey movement and others.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you are presently engaged to Minister Malik Shabazz, is that correct?
Well, yes, we have been in a long-term relationship. Yes, I am. Yes,
really?
We have been together organizationally for quite some time now.
Organizationally?
Yes, and personally, yes. Mm-hmm.
And personally?
And personally, yes.
Okay. Well, congratulations on the engagement. I read you were engaged to the minister. And,
yes, well, I've been with the group for quite a while now, and we have worked together for a very long time. So our relationship basically is built on the struggle.
On the struggle.
The personal part comes second.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. That's good. I've seen a lot of that take place in past movements, like the Black Panther Party and et cetera. Angela Davis and Elaine Brown and some of the other Panther members and et cetera.
I never thought of it like that. Never quite. Now that you mention it, I better go back and reread.
Yeah.
I better go back and read some history.
Yeah,
it never crossed my mind.
It's kind of a romanticism in the struggle. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And particularly when two people are together and involved and passionate about it.
Yes. Brother One, I was trying to find this flyer. I'm so sorry I can't, because I would like to make this announcement about a school board meeting, the Detroit Board of Education in exile. It's
Oh,
having a
okay.
school board meeting Thursday, February 23rd. It's at Sacred Heart Community Center, which is on Rivard Street in Detroit. And I don't have the flyer with the exact address in front of me, but I can give out the minister's phone number. I would like everyone to come. Again, that's the school board, the Detroit Board of Education in Exile. And it's our town hall meeting February 23rd at 6 o'clock at Sacred Heart Community Center, and it's on Rivard. I just don't have the address right in front of me right now.
Yeah.
But again, they can call 313-646-3375. And we would appreciate all the community support we could get.
Okay, yeah. I'll have to, you said 646-3375.
Correct, 313-646-3375.
Okay. Also, I have the minister, Malik Shabazz, as a friend on Facebook.
Okay.
And he may have a flyer there on his page or something that I can look at as well.
Yes.
So I'll check that out, and I'll try to be there as well.
Okay, and with that flyer, there was just to let you know, there was an error on that first flyer, so a corrected version should have been sent out by the communications director, but just to let you know, there is a slight error on there, okay? So I just want to tell you that we did notice it after we sent some of them out. What
would the error be on the flyer?
Well, look down where it says putting our children first. There's a typographical error right there.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know if the corrected version has been sent out, but I do want to let you know that we are aware of that.
Yeah.
Okay. And and so I just want to let you know that.
Yeah, thank you.
The corrected one should be, if it's not on the site, should be up there soon.
Right. Let me tell my listeners that the call-in number is 347-688-2902, in case they want to call in and ask you any questions or anything about the new Marcus Garvey movement, about the Detroit Public Schools, and et cetera, since you're a board member. And that number again is 347-688-2902. And, sometimes we have members that, they want to question us on different things.
Yeah.
And, they welcome, I welcome the listeners' calls.
Yeah.
And everything. And, they know what they want to know better than I do.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I try to, get as much out as I can, but sometimes I may not be asking a question that they're interested in hearing the answer to. Mm-hmm. So they can always call in and ask that question themselves.
Yeah.
And I would appreciate it if they would please do so. Don't be bashful. Call in.
Well, sometimes, we're a little quiet. Sometimes just like to sit back and listen,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let me. You were elected to the school board. Hold on, I got a call coming in right now. I got to work the calls. And caller 604, are you there?
Yes, I am. It's SJ.
Hey, SJ.
Other one. I love that address. You fit that well. You've been so gentle and considerate with Akilah as she's been speaking. I've been really enjoying the interview.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Akilah, may I address you directly, ma'am?
Yes.
My name is SJ.
SJ?
Yes, ma'am.
Like Sam?
Yes, ma'am, like Sunshine Jim.
Okay. Yes,
I'm an old happy biker, old commercial fisherman on the West Coast.
Okay.
Certainly someone who has paid a lot of attention to specifically the issues that you were discussing today.
Mm-hmm.
I applaud your election.
Thank you.
And thank you for your service.
Thank
Do you think you'll have any luck in changing the curriculum?
In Detroit?
Yes, ma'am.
with the schools?
Yes, ma'am. I am familiar with the opposition.
I believe, well, even before we get to the curriculum, we
Yes,
have
ma'am.
we have to regain control. We have to regain power, the Detroit School Board, because we have a emergency manager now,
Mm-hmm.
and all the power has been stripped from the board. But
Yes, ma'am.
and to answer your question, I'm a newly elected board member, and this is my position. While the Detroit Board of Education may have been stripped of all our legal powers, I'm a Christian woman, and I believe in God. So therefore, I feel like we have God power, and we have community power. The purpose of the town hall meeting that we're having this Thursday is because there are still things that the Board of Education can do as it relates to our children. And we have to address the whole child. Now, like I stated, we do not have control or access to any student files, any records, any financial records, any hiring or firing or anything of that nature whatsoever. But this puts us in a unique position because still we are elected officials, and as elected officials, we're elected to serve the community. So what we're doing is we're taking it to the streets. We're taking it to the community. We're going to the community, and we're asking the community, as your elected officials, what is it that we can do for you?
Exactly.
That's what we're here for. And in the meantime, while we have court cases pending, while we have a signature, while we have a petition drive going on, and we're about to submit those signatures, there is still something that the board can do. And by doing these things and by helping to uplift the community, period, it will help empower the community as well as the board. And then we can go on and talk about the curriculum and other things like that. But in the meantime, this is what and we do have plans, in the making. We're not just doing this blindly, and we do know what we want, and we do have a vision. But we are asking the community, and we are going to the community. Since Roy Roberts will not give us any information, being as the board members, then we'll get it another way. There's still things that we can do to help the parents and to help the children, and that's how we're going to do it.
Well, I applaud your efforts. They're phenomenal and fall in really well with Chicago in general. I've got a question that is not totally unrelated, but somewhat unrelated to the topic we've been following. If you will allow me, I'd like to ask you if you've ever heard of Saul Alinsky. He's a really interesting man in terms of community development, in terms of developing the relationships of all the people that are individuals within a community, sort of breaking through that tendency we have to separate. Oh, wonderful data source. I think you'd enjoy it. He's an old school Chicago organizer.
And what's
grassroots
his name
man.
Again? Would you spell
Very
his
well.
name for me?
Saul Alinsky.
Okay.
Oh, you'll like it. I really appreciate you coming on and taking the time to talk with us. It's a pleasure to chat with you, man.
Thank you very much, S.J.
Let me bail out here. Maybe you can get some more callers in. It's been a really interesting discussion.
Thanks for the call, S.J.
Thank you.
Brother One, I think that's a very good way of referring to you. I will use that in the future if you don't mind.
Yes, sir, Brother S.J.
You betcha, Brother One. See you later, bud. Love you all.
Bye. Take care. Akilah, does the Marcus Garvey movement have political aspirations? Like they put you in the school board. Is this like the beginning step for you to go to city council and to take the mayorship and different things like this?
Well, for myself, I would say no. I've been elected to the school board. This is a 4-year term. I'm not saying that there are not other political aspirations, but right now, from where I sit, I would like to carry this out. I'm a person who I like to finish what I start.
Yeah.
But no, I'm not, because see, I never even thought that I would be in this position, period. You know how you plan your life?
Yeah, exactly.
And this was not ever in my plans. I did not foresee this. But while I'm here, I want to do a good job. While I am a person who is confident within myself, I am a certain age, so I look at that too. So I don't know, but I do know that while I'm in the position of school board member, that I will execute my duties to the best of my ability and try to make a difference, and to try to promote the message that we're not powerless, that there's still things that we can do. There's so many things that can be done.
Such as, what can you do as a school board member, and you're powerless? What
if, for example, just hypothetically, that they allow, let's just look at take one school, for example, okay?
Yeah.
Let's say, for example, if they allowed this one school to stay open to 8 o'clock p.m. at night. And say, for example, this school has a library where students in the community and parents can come and utilize the services of the library. Now, not long ago, we, as a school board member, in conjunction with a benefactor, the New Marcus Garvey movement, passed out hats and gloves at one of the elementary schools in my district. And it's a poor district. And some of the children, you could definitely tell were needy, and the uniforms weren't, up to par. Well, if you can imagine a little girl's uniform, a jumper, they call them jumpers, that's a 2-piece outfit, to tell you the truth. Now, what if we took some of these young mothers with these babies and taught them how to make a jumper for their little girl? Then the mother could make 5 jumpers for the little girl, and the little girl would have a clean dress every day. And then you can teach somebody else how to do it. And then you can begin to sell clothes to your neighbors, to the parents at the school at a reduced price. And then maybe it'll grow to be a little mini factory. Right. And then you can employ. It just goes on and on and on and on and on. It's limitless on what we can do. Okay, but
do you have the ability to keep a school open till 8 o'clock? Do you have the power? Is it all in emergency?
If the parents look, let me tell you something. See, people keep talking about money.
Yeah.
But we find money when we have to. Right. Now, when we have to find money, we find it. Like, just to make it simple, when them bill collectors calling you and telling you, look, you done carry this to the last moment or whatever.
Right.
Or you owe a debt. Somebody, your relative, get in trouble. Or your boyfriend said, baby, let's go on this vacation. We can find the money. It's about where our priorities are. For example, my children graduated from high school years ago. And I was highly upset because whoever was in charge decided that the senior trip for the children would be a trip to the Bahamas. And at that time, that trip cost $500, and I had 2 children graduating from high school. That was the cost then. Now, I hit the ceiling. First of all, $500 is a lot of money. Second of all, my position was most of these children haven't even been out of Detroit. Isn't there somewhere in the United States that they can go, the Grand Canyon or something? And furthermore, I felt that you had asked half of these parents to pay $500 toward their children's books, they would have hit the ceiling, claimed poverty and indigent and everything else. So it's about priorities and money, and if the parents demand that the school is open, it'll be open. If we demand it.
If we demand it, it will, huh?
I beg your pardon?
Okay, if you say if we demand it, it'll be open.
Look, if you demand it, if you get together, if you act like you know what you're doing, you got your plan together.
Right.
You know, that's why it goes back to the one thing you mentioned about me being a shrine to Black and Diamond. Jeremiah, your baby, I just say, build your own.
Yeah.
Even quit complaining. That's what I'm talking about. When people talk about the school board don't have no power. Yes, we do.
But you have to get the parents behind you. Is that right?
Parents behind us, community behind us. See, because I'm not the only one that thinks like this.
Yeah.
Sometimes we just need somebody to step out. And then, like I said, too, I'm not the only one. There are other groups doing things, too.
Right. Well, I'm fully, like, behind you and what you're saying and everything, because you were elected. And for them to come in here and just usurp the election process and put whoever they want to put in and let him run things, it's like you threw democracy out the window. It's
slavery. It's downright slavery under a different name. Anytime someone comes in and take your rights away, take the duties and responsibilities of the school board or whatever board it may be away from the people who you elected. But that's what I'm saying still. Even so, we are still elected, and you may have taken it away. You may have taken it away from us in that sense, but there is a God somewhere. And when we come together and exercise our God-given power, then mountains move. We can accomplish things. That's how I believe.
Exactly. Let me introduce my co-host, Debbie. Miss Debbie, as they call Debbie. Debbie, how are you?
I'm fine, yourself?
I'm doing well. Debbie wants to ask the question.
Is the emergency manager working with the school board at all?
No. We have met. He has called a meeting a couple times, but and I don't want to be negative and ill will. I really don't. So I'll just leave it at that. No, he's met twice, and I am. That is why we're having this town hall meeting. You know, I want to keep it on the up and up. Our power has been taken. Our legal power has been usurped, and we have to. But still, even though that has occurred, we still have to exercise and act like we do have power, because we can work with the parents and the community to still effect some change. See, if the parents can get together and get rid of that EM, if they really wanted to.
Right. I mean, how do you feel? Because they keep appointing all these people who are not from the city of Detroit. From what I understand, he lives out in West Bloomfield with maids and all kinds of other people serving him, and, you know, drivers and everything else. What do you feel about somebody living way out? I mean, because, you know, really, I don't think that people with money can really be assertive over people who don't have money, because you don't understand the struggle of where these little kids that live in the inner city are going through when you out there with your servants cooking your breakfast, shining your shoes, driving your car, washing your car. You don't know what it is like to have to struggle like these people or the parents down here. So how can you tell me what's good for my child when my child may never ever be on the level of which you're on? So I don't know if me and you could. Do you understand what I'm saying? Me and you can't see the same picture, because your picture is totally different from mine.
It depends on the mindset, though, because that doesn't apply for all. It depends on the mindset. See, you could still have someone who have those type of living conditions, live in a mansion and have servants and multi-cars and planes and in stocks and mutual bonds and gold and all that kind of stuff. You can. And still have some compassion for people.
You know what? I'm going to have to disagree, because guess what? Most of these people out here who got that type of money that are in these, put into these positions, they don't seem to have compassion for people that don't have money.
I understand.
Really? And they don't really have compassion for poor people.
What I'm saying is, maybe the majority of them may not have any compassion. But what I'm just trying to say is, sometimes, you know, we make blanket statements, but based that, well, I just wouldn't say every single person who fits that description is inhumane and don't have those type of don't have any compassion, because you have people that fit that description who grew up in poverty and who have forgotten where they came from.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying that because I'm seeing so many. I'm looking at the governor. He got money. He don't have no compassion. I was looking at a show today with, what's his name? The congressman, which, if he's going to run again, I'm not voting for him, because he's been in so much controversy. The lady next door to his house that he had, that he gave to Monica. Now Monica gave it to her son. Did her son turn around and gave it to the mother in order for them to avoid being compassionate? Has gotten a lady a $7,000 insurance bill. And I'm just looking at so many people who maybe they did start out poor or whatever, but when they get to a certain level and they're making a certain amount of money, they forget all about those people at the bottom. And they forget about our kids. I mean, I just talk to people and I look at people and I see people really, you know, and I'm like, man, you mean to tell me they can't find somebody that's more grounded, more level to put over these people? Look at Robert Bob. Robert Bob, all he did was come in here, messed up the school system, he left. Now they got another.
Here's where we talk about voting and getting out and vote, and we think, many of us think that our vote does not count, but it does. See, don't get mad at those people in that sense. I mean, I'm upset too, but see, they're looking out for the interests of their people. Now, early in the program, I was asked if I believe in separatism.
Yeah.
See, but these people, the governor, the Republican-controlled House, the Republican-controlled Senate, they're looking out for the interests of their people.
Right.
The people got out and voted them in, and they doing what they were elected to do, which is look out for the interests of their people.
Akilah,
well,
Detroit got out and voted you.
Regardless to who is in office, we still have to look out for the interests of our people, even if we don't have billions, the type of money that they do. But we do have money if we begin to better utilize our what resources that we have. And I'm not saying we got the same resources as they do, but we, you know what? Let me put it like this. Every time during Kwanzaa, we start talking about how great we used to be and the great kings and queens of Africa, and we're the rulers and fathers and mothers and creators of civilization, which we are.
Yeah.
But we fail to realize that the same genes, the same DNA is in us today. And we are going to have to begin to use our creativity and our resources and whatever else we have available to us to build for ourselves. And, I mean, don't get me wrong, right now that I am an elected politician, but I'm talking on a personal level now. This is Wanda Akilah Redmond talking. All my names that I've had. Let me tell you something. My mama taught me never depend on a man to put a piece of bread on the table for your children. Do you hear me?
Yeah.
She said you always put yourself in a position where you can provide for your family. And that's what we need to do. We need to be able to start providing for ourselves. Yes, complain about what these no good folks are doing up there, stripping us of our rights and everything they can to squash our political process and to keep us subjugated and subservient and ignorant. Yes, they are. That is true. And we should holler and cry and protest against it. But in the meantime, too, we still should also be coming together. What the New Marcus Garvey movement talks about all the time. Come together. Let's clean up our neighborhood. Let's be proud of what our neighborhood. And we'll get all of that. It will come.
Right. But like you said, You got elected. The Detroiters came out. They elected you. And look what has happened. You see, you were elected, and now you don't have any power. The emergency manager's in.
That's why we have, brother, let me tell you again, that's why we having this town hall meeting. See, I don't take that.
Yeah.
I don't take it. Now, legally, they made the laws, they got the law, but I don't take it. And I'm not talking about breaking the law.
Right.
No. It's still something we can do. Those parents and students still need our help.
Right.
It's still something that we can do. In the meantime, while we're fighting on other fronts to get our power back, there's still things that we can do, and these things will empower us. So as we get our power back, we will be in a position.
So you talking legal-wise? I mean, in court or something like that?
There are court cases and all types of things. But, brother, I have really have to end our conversation, and I've enjoyed it because I really do have to prepare for the minister's ending his program, and I do have to prepare for some things.
Okay. It's been a pleasure speaking with you, and I really do appreciate you coming on and talking to us about the new Marcus Garvey movement and about some of the things that's happening with the Detroit public schools and et cetera. And maybe some other time we can get together and have a longer conversation or get the minister on.
Oh, that would be so wonderful.
You know, and hear from him.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right, and thank you to you, and thanks to your audience for listening.
Thank you.
All right, God bless.
God bless.
Peace.
Bye-bye. Okay, that was it. That was our guest. That was Wanda Akilah Redmond, a member of the Detroit Schools Board of Education. Of course, because the Detroit Schools budget was so messed up, you know, they had deficits running, you know, $100 million, $200 million. I think it had got up to 300 and something million, the deficit in the Detroit public schools. And they started sending the governor, did a takeover, basically. Our last governor did a takeover. And since our last governor, we have a new governor, but that governor just continued with the takeover of Detroit schools. And, you know, he's sending in his own emergency manager to come in and to straighten out Detroit's public schools budget and everything. And, you know, before it was Robert Bobb, that was put in by the last emergency manager. By the last governor. And Robert Bobb, he actually added, you know, to the deficit. You know, it got bigger, but he said it would have been even bigger if he had not have done what he did, you know. But he didn't really take anything away from the deficit. He added to it. So they sent in General Motors, an ex-General Motors executive. He used to be the vice president of GM, Roy Roberts, or whatever. They sent him in to be the emergency manager of the Detroit public schools. Of course, you all know that General Motors went bankrupt, and they had problems and issues and needed a bailout in order to continue on. And even after the bailout, when they were threatening to go into bankruptcy if they didn't get a bailout, they went into bankruptcy anyway after they got the money, you know, as a strategy to, straighten out GM quicker than they could if they didn't go into bankruptcy. So, you know, I'm not looking at Roy Roberts as a savior, you know, since, you know, he's just big time General Motors exec, because the execs over at General Motors screwed it up. Okay. It had the company bankrupt. You know, they kept making these big gas guzzling Escalades and Suburbans and everything else, you know, in order to get the profits off of the side items that they sell, you know, the options and everything. And the whole time gas prices are rising. You know, it's like nobody had any vision that you might need a smaller car, you know, or something that you know, the mileage is better on. You know what I'm saying? And then the Japanese came in and tore them up with the small car. You know, and I'm telling you, you can see all the way back to '79 when you know, in the oil embargo with the Arab nations and etc. That there were going to be problems and issues, you know, with gas availability and etc. You know, and where's the vision? You know, with General Motors and its executives and etc. You know, I don't know. Now the governor, he picks Roy Roberts, vice president of General Motors, you know, to go ahead and be the man to save Detroit public schools. And, you know, I'm just looking at what happened over at General Motors and saying, well, you know, is Roy Roberts the man? I don't know. But the call-in number here is 347-688-2902. You can call in, and I'll add you to the conference. Hello, how are you?
What's going on?
Oh man, not a whole lot. I just was just talking about the Detroit Public Schools here and the emergency manager, Roy Roberts, ex-General Motors vice president. The governor sent him here to take over the schools from the school board. And, you know, he's supposed to straighten everything out and everything and fix the Detroit Public Schools and all that. Of course, we've seen what happened to General Motors while Roy Roberts was there. So,
yeah, but, you know,
caller?
Profits.
Caller, you are breaking up. You on a cell phone?
Yeah, I'm on a cell phone. I'm sorry about that. Let me see if I can get somewhere with better reception.
Yeah, get better reception or get you a landline. Who am I speaking with, caller?
This is V. Knight.
V. Knight.
The one and only.
The one and only.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard.
I was just reading about General Motors getting a bunch of profits, like large amount of profits, and it was due to a lot of sales in China, what they say recently.
Yeah.
So, as far as his management over there at General Motors, that might have been part of the deal. That might have been part of the plan and their strategic strategy in order to get that bailout, in order to put them over the top. I mean, receiving that bailout was it was a great asset to that company, really.
Yeah.
And it may have been part of the plan. He may be an excellent manager.
Yeah, the bailout may have not been necessary, you know, but actually, you know, they took it and used it and et cetera.
Exactly. That's my point exactly.
And then went into bankruptcy. It may have been a plan.
Exactly. That's my point exactly. So I don't want to, you know, count him out as a bad manager because of that, because as you see today, they're making profits. And although they got someone else new in there, they could have been part of what he done previously. But
not only that, let me tell you this though. Not only that, they use the fact that they needed a bailout and they were near bankruptcy and everything. They used that to take to the unions and to get more concessions and et cetera. And then now they're bringing union workers in at $14 an hour, $18 an hour, where they were at $28 an hour.
Yeah, so where you would say, from a business standpoint, where you would say, this guy, wasn't a great manager. It almost seems like he was a mastermind.
Yeah.
In some aspect.
Yes.
Be able to get the $35 hour employee, and get a big payoff, and be able to put the company back on top where they're making profits more than ever now.
Well, yeah, if it was a plan and he raked us over the coals, he raked the people over the coals like he did, then yeah, he's a master at what he does.
Yeah, exactly. So, but my thing is, you just talk about the lady that was on the board, and then she came in and got pushed out by emergency manager.
Yeah.
My main question is, previously, I mean, they were in charge before the emergency manager came in, and the school system failed.
Yeah. Miserably.
And so, miserably. So, I mean, I remember when I was there, right? Not many years. I mean, some years back, and I was hearing about 20 high schools closing on top of a school in my neighborhood, Northern High School, turning into an all-girls school, and where it used to be co-ed, boys and male and female.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they were failing horribly. What makes anybody think that maybe emergency manager with some experience may not be, is not needed? Well, why do people think that that's not needed at this point? I mean, it's like you had your shot and you missed.
I don't know. The only thing I would say is that this emergency manager law, you take the emergency manager law, you look at the state of Michigan. The state of Michigan had a deficit, millions of dollars behind, hundreds of millions of dollars behind. Okay? No emergency manager came in and took over the governorship. Okay? Look at the United States of America. You're probably $14 trillion in debt. Okay? Where's the emergency manager and the emergency management coming in to take over the presidency and the Congress and straighten this thing out? You see what I'm saying? So why is there an emergency manager law in Michigan when we get into a little budget trouble when this, that, and the other? All of a sudden, you got to take all the elected officials that we elected as the people of the city of Detroit, as of the city of Pontiac, of the city of Saginaw, and you take those elected officials and cast them in the garbage can and put one man in charge of everything, and then he don't have to obey any of the rules and regulations or anything. He's got all the power. He can take all the union contracts and just throw them out if he chooses to. Yeah. And he can sell. I think they sold the city county building in Pontiac, Michigan, and just sell any assets that belong to the city whatsoever. Now the emergency manager, they talking about sending an emergency manager here to Detroit to take over Detroit City, okay? And he might even sell the mayor's house that the mayor's in when he gets here, okay?
They don't really need an emergency manager. The thing is that they're trying to get control. They want control of certain things, and the only way to get it, because it is not coming the easy way, is to put an emergency manager in here. Once the emergency manager is in here, he can sell off the water department. He can sell off the school board. He can sell off everything that he want to sell off, and then they'd be like, oh, okay, the emergency manager didn't work.
They've already made deals. They went to regional control, okay, of the of different things. Regional authority is what they call it. Hello,
like the lady that was on the board earlier. What's that lady? I'm sorry. What's her name?
Her name is Wanda Akilah Redmond.
Okay, Miss Redmond, when she was speaking about, I'm not going to take it. Okay, yeah, you say you're not going to take it, but you're taking it.
Let me tell you.
The thing about it is, you got to do the research. You got to look at every county, every school system in Michigan. You got to look at all of their deficits, all of their budgets, and you got to look at put all that stuff together and compound, and then you got to say, okay, this school system out in, way out somewhere in Michigan, they got the same deficit as us, but no emergency manager taking over. Nobody, coming in and doing anything down there. You got to put all this stuff together, and then you got to pick apart that state statute or that state constitution as far as that law goes, because it may be in conflict with something else. On top of, if your area is getting treated any different than any other area based on the numbers and the numbers alone. and then you got to go, beyond your state sometime and even federal. That's how you fight and you not take it. You just don't sit back and say, I'm not going to take it and cry, because you're going to take it.
Yeah. Well, like Akilah was saying, she's not going to take it, and they're holding meetings over at the community center and different things, and saying that we still do have some power. When in fact, the emergency manager has completely taken over. He has the whole budget in his hands. He don't even talk to the city council. The city council is like on the sideline. I mean, the board, the school board is on the sidelines, looking at him work his magic. You know what I'm saying? So, what power do you have? And as far as the voters go, the voters, they went out, they voted, they elected people. And what happened? That person got kicked to the side. The whole board, man, he just like bounced them. Like, okay, we got this, since y'all couldn't straighten it out, we gonna take over.
Well, I mean,
the sad thing is, they already had an emergency manager in here before they appointed a second emergency manager, and the first emergency manager didn't do nothing but get paid a big salary and mess everything up, and he gone. So, to me, it's not even solving anything. Why would you put another one in here? The first one didn't work. Do you like the state that Detroit is in right now?
No.
No. Okay. For many years, you had black people in politics, over control of things that was going on in Detroit. And you don't like the state that it's in right now.
They really didn't have control. They really didn't have control. No, they had political power. But politics without economics is substance, is symbol without substance. You understand? They didn't have the money. They didn't have the economics behind it. We had white flight out of the city. Like million people ran out of the city to the suburbs and stuff, and they started building and doing everything out there. Back in the 60s and the 70s and stuff like that. And it really was all about, I don't want to live next door to a black guy. You know what I'm saying? Or just that.
So what you're saying is you need white people back in the city in order for the city to come back and be vibrant and have a good economic.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that.
No, we're saying we need people. We ain't gonna say white people.
I'm not gonna say we need white people per se.
We need good people.
I'm gonna tell you, man, they got salaries. They have this thing locked down. Who's running this thing?
White flight. That's why I said white because you said white. You said white flight.
I know it. I said white flight. I did say white flight. But let me tell you this.
So you was referring to the money.
I'm referring to the money. When the white people left, they left. They took the jobs with them. Okay. The jobs that they held down in the city of Detroit, they still hold. Okay? They drive in every morning. They drive out every evening. Okay? They still hold. They still fill up all the buildings downtown and the banks, the engineering buildings, CompuWare, everything downtown. They still.
So you need them back in order for the economy there to.
Actually, no. We need the jobs. We need the jobs.
We need the working people. But the thing is, the corporate structure and the banking structure and everything is in favor of the white population. You see what I'm saying? They're in favor of keeping them uplifted, and the corporate structure follows them with the jobs and et cetera, and different things like this. And keeps them on top of the game, man.
To say this, as long as Coleman Young was in here and he was the mayor, the job stayed in the city. It was a requirement that you had to live in here. Then you got the mayor in here.
That was only if you were a public city worker.
Right. But a lot of the jobs down there is downtown city jobs at that point.
You got Edison, you got Mishcon, you got all the other companies and
well, at that time, Mishcon and DTE had moved their business to South.
You got all the
they
courts,
just started coming back.
The courts and et cetera.
But the courts, the people that worked at the courts, the judges, the lawyers, all those people that was running up and in and out of there and had something to do with the city business, they had to maintain a residency here in Detroit. Then that clown got in there, and he took some kickbacks, and the kickback said, "Free the people."
You know what? I don't want to make this about Detroit, the show and everything, because this is urban. Okay, and I'm telling you, it's happening urban.
Well, yeah, that's just like that article I was telling you about the other
Well,
day where
Chicago,
the guy blocked all the people votes. What state was that in? Where he's doing time for blocking people votes because he was calling them on the phone, telling them that the polls was closed. That day.
Really?
Yeah, I think where it was in Arizona or somewhere. He was calling all them to make them not go to the polls. So it's just not a Detroit economic situation. It's a worldwide situation because there's been a lot of stories on there about the votes.
About the emergency manager coming in. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, we're talking about the emergency manager.
Well, I mean, let's just take this like this. Lincoln Park and Allen Park are in receivership. They don't even have a fire department, okay? But they don't got an emergency manager.
Right.
That's my point. That's the information that has to be compounded. And that's got to go throughout all the counties in different places in Michigan so that you can show that it's some kind of the motive being implemented right there in the city.
Yeah.
And like you said, the jobs, you said there's a lot of jobs that's there when you talk about Conway and these different places like that. That's there, except they moved out of the city, but they're pulling the money from the city and taking it out to their communities. So in essence, what you're saying is you really need that money to stay in the city, which means you need them to come back to the city. What would make them come back to the city?
I'm all for white employed people coming back to the city. We got a lot of
what would make them come back?
Less crime, better housing and et cetera, being put up, just a better climate in Detroit, but
not a question. How do you create a better climate? A lot of times you end up having to sell business to private entities when they come in and invest and build things up, so that may be a city county building. They may have to do, different things like that. And then control, the city don't have much control over different places. But at the same time, the city got more money being put into it.
Well,
more investors coming in and building it up. As you can see, Chicago, places like that got bad neighborhoods, rough neighborhoods. And at the same time, Chicago's a vibrant city.
I don't want the Chicago model. I don't want the big downtown and everybody shopping and having a ball and the neighborhoods look like hell. And that's what's happening here in the city of Detroit. They're doing that downtown. The neighborhoods look like hell. They're not bringing it to the neighborhoods. The people are what matters to me. I don't care about them building up downtown where they can come in and play and have fun over at Ford Field and Comerica Park and Joe Louis Arena and playing hockey and then ride back out to the suburbs.
No, I'm talking about whole neighborhoods. The more you build up, the more housing, more everything. Whole neighborhood.
This is what we need.
Where people move back to the city.
Yep, and we need employment here, gainful employment. Where banks want to lend you money, so that you can put money into your homes and fix them up and do different things. And we can raise the median wage from $26,000 in the city of Detroit, somewhere around 60. That'd be great.
Right. There's a lot of things that actually need to be balanced. I was watching, what is his name, Virgil Hill. Do you know he's the only, I think he's a congressman or whatever, state senator, whatever he is. I forgot what his job title is, but he's in the politics. He's been lobbying to see if he could get our car insurance reduced. Michigan, Detroit, has the highest car insurance in the country, according to the statistics.
I can believe that.
They said we are the highest. We're the number one. We're average car insurance for a person 50 years old is $6,000 a year. Really? I was amazed when I seen this on the news today.
I read that too. They got the highest. And there's a few other people behind them with 4,000. They average about 4,000 a year. But
he said, but he tried to meet with these people with the car insurance and the lobbyists and stuff. He said they won't even come to the meeting.
Detroit is more than half the population is in poverty, or near poverty. Okay. But you got all these high rates on insurance, man. High housing insurance. The property taxes are just ridiculous, man. Okay. And they just keep adding more and more millages and everything and squeezing people, man. I mean, it's
So
ridiculous.
what kind of job can you get with no education that pays $60K a year? And we're trying to get the median up to 60.
Well, look,
you're gonna have to have a lot of people making 100.
Yeah, exactly.
So what kind of jobs do
as far as I'm concerned, we can turn Detroit into the new Wall Street. As far as I'm concerned, there's plenty of empty buildings downtown that could be revamped and different things can be done to those buildings.
That's a great idea.
You know what I'm saying?
A great idea.
But
Canada across the way.
Yeah, with Canada right across the way and different things like it's a lot of things that could be done. It's just, are the people willing to level the playing field? You see what I'm saying? Are they willing
That's the thing. It looks like it's in motion to be done already. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
It looks like it's in motion to be done, except black people in the city is not getting put in.
Yeah, you're not included.
However, you're not included. At the same time, you want to. There used to be a time where Detroit was booming off the auto industry, and at that time, early in industrial period and stuff like that, when they started the assembly line and all of that, you could make a lot of money, and you didn't have to have any special education. You could just go in, train on the job, learn how to do it, and make a decent wage, the one that you're speaking about.
Right.
And now it's different. Now you got a lot of computers and mechanical machines and different things doing things, and you still got people in there working, but they're working on the machines and different things like that, and management and different things like that, where it takes a higher education.
Right.
So, when you create an environment where the people are not getting educated, where you're shutting down 20 schools at a time, you're boxing them out of $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 a year.
Yep,
start with being qualified.
Poor education is boxing them out. Poor education, man, is, look, when we came here, man, it was against the law for you to teach a black person to read or to write. This, that, and the other. They had laws against it, okay? And we've been fighting for better education ever since we got here, man. And guess what? It's always been poor education and everything. Education, man, is one of the ways out, okay? That's why the cities and everything are going to have poor education, okay? They're going to, the crime rates are going to be up and everything, where the Negroes have been corralled onto these concrete reservations and everything. And they're going for prisons for profit, brother. You understand what I'm saying? It's just one game after the next, man, and not leveling this playing field. You feel me?
So you think keeping the city council board in is going to solve that problem?
Keeping the city council board? No, like I said, these politicians, they don't have any
real board.
They don't have any muscle, man. The city council don't have any muscle. Okay? The mayor doesn't have any muscle. When the governor comes to town, the mayor bows down. He don't have any muscle. He's a storekeeper. He's watching somebody else's store, and he better watch it right, or they'll throw him in jail. If he put his hand in the wrong place. That's just the way it is. We can elect whoever we want to elect, but they don't have any muscle. They got political power. You understand? But the economics, man, are helped by the billionaires here, and et cetera, like the Illages and the Fords and the General Motors Corporation and the Fortune 500 and different things like this.
Another thing is that, let me say this, is when we were growing up and we were coming through school, we were taught that it was important to go out and vote. The schools and the kids coming along, because our generation, they probably do vote, but a lot of them don't vote because I don't know what reason. But then now, most of the younger generation, they don't even care to vote. They don't even care to know the real politics of what's being taught. If you say, well, they're going to put an emergency manager in, and you're trying to have a conversation with them, they don't even understand what emergency manager means to their kids. You understand what I'm saying?
Where's voting getting anybody?
Right.
That's the problem.
Voting is only important under certain circumstances. When you got a situation where you get to elect people that are qualified for the job, that you know are going to go out there and do the right things, and they're going to be empowered by this position in order to do these different things, then you go ahead and you try to vote and get them in, and then you let them work their magic and see things, become. But when a position, if you got, guys getting put up there in the front like puppets, and then on top of that, the position is not hold any kind of empowerment at all, you have no power in the position to do anything, voting is not important anymore.
Right. Exactly.
Right. Well, that's just basically that's what's
that,
happening in most
vote,
city
and then what happens? Nothing. Same old, same old. They vote somebody in, they get who they want in, and it's the same old, same old. So after a while, you go, well, voting is not the answer.
Yeah, the only thing that happens is the guy who you voted for gets rich.
That's what I was just telling him. I said, I'm going to start lobbying the court system. I'm going to go down here and sit in the courts to see just how effective the judges are. Because, I just realized that most judges get reelected based on the fact that they've been there sitting in that seat for 20 years. You understand what I'm saying?
I've been to
they don't really have to work for that job no more. Unless you knew and you got somebody really young that's opposing you. Most of those judges that are incumbents have been incumbents for years. But you go down there and you sit down and you listen to how they talk to people, how they treat people, how they just really in with the lawyers and the police officers and everything else. To the person that's really coming before them really don't have a chance. So my job is going to be now to go down there and start seeing, and I'm going to start pressing people to not vote for these people just because their name has been on the ballot for the last 20 years.
It's not even about voting and stuff and these judges and this and that. You can vote them in all you want to, but there's a certain routine down there and a certain understanding when you get down to the court. And the one thing is the prosecutor rules down, and he's representing the state of Michigan. He rules. And let me tell you, the judge will not make a move without a nod from the prosecutor at all. He won't make a move. He's scared. I've seen judges looking on the floor rather than look me in my eye, okay, when they know some bull crap is going down. But they'll look at the floor and make a bogus call, okay, rather than go against that prosecutor. That's just the way it is.
Yeah. Hey, like you said, he representing the state of Michigan, and the state of Michigan gave the judge the job, So,
actually, the state of Michigan didn't get a judge's job.
Some of the judges were appointed, some were elected.
I mean, let me tell you this. A judge is really nothing but a high-ranking welfare position, really. Really. Because the people, the money that they get paid, is still based on me paying my taxes. So they're getting a government handout just like the person on welfare.
Oh, yeah. Government housing is the best housing in the world. It's the White House. Okay? But then on the other end, it's also the projects. So I'm not totally against government housing. It's the full gamut of housing. And they on the top, they on the welfare dole, just like the guys on the bottom are on the welfare dole. They ain't working for us. Who are they working for? Look at what shape. Look at the shape we're in, and you tell me that these politicians are working for us. Okay?
But it's us money.
I just watched the CEO of BP speak about his different packages and severance packages and bonuses and things like that. When he was confronted about it, and he used the analogy that they sign Kobe Bryant to these big contracts, and if he don't win a championship, they don't take his money away.
Right. Right.
But it seems like it's going to have to be education. In order to get empowered, you're going to have to get educated. The people of Detroit and different places, and especially the conscious people of Detroit, are going to have to become educated and get into and fight for positions of empowerment. Although you may be getting boxed out, you need a lot of people, especially the people who are conscious of what's going on, to be fighting for positions of empowerment, making themselves qualified and fighting for them positions in order to band together and start to get something out of the deal.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know about that band together, because the more you try to band with people, the more they be looking at you like you crazy. Like, what's going on with that one right there? Why is she saying it? Just like, let's go back to like the house that they wanted to give to the police officer around the corner. When I spoke my piece, I said, first of all, I don't even think that it's fair that you give a house to a police officer, because they are already getting $60,000, $80,000 of my tax money. Now you're going to put them in a house that you just invested $200,000 in, and they're only going to have to pay $75,000, but you're going to get them $25,000 down on this house, and then I'm not going to get anything. Yeah. I said, the minute I said it was a bad situation, everybody around me was like, shut up, this is so good, this is so good.
Yeah. Okay.
Then 3 months later, the girl couldn't even qualify for the house. You understand what I'm saying?
The bank wouldn't even make her a loan.
The bank wouldn't even make her a loan. But she's got a job in the city. Really, her credit worthiness should be good. She was young, but they wouldn't even qualify her for a loan. But I'm sitting here saying, okay, why couldn't we have extended that to somebody who could qualify for the loan, give them the same $25,000, and let them get in the house? Nobody sees that as a good idea. So when you come up with ideas here, most people try to shoot you down. They don't want you to know nothing. They don't want you to press nothing. They don't want you to try to push towards nothing positive if it's not their plan.
Well, you're gonna have your opposition. You know that too.
I got a cousin in Detroit that's got a criminal justice degree and a BA in criminal justice, and I don't think she's doing anything in this field. How about you go?
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about? So I'm just saying, how about, you go become a police officer and slide into that $200,000 house for $75,000? How about that? Right. How about black people do that? How about the people of Detroit do that instead of getting the police officer job and moving out to Monroe?
Yeah.
Well, they don't want to live in the same place we live in. Yeah. They don't want to serve in the same place.
I'm talking about the people that's already there. I'm talking about the people that's already there. Why don't they get the houses that have been rebuilt?
Well, I mean, they
don't want to live there, and the plan is already.
Right now, man, they're cutting back on the police force. They're not adding to the police force.
Okay, but y'all just said that
we got virtual after 4:00, man. They're trying to bring police from the suburbs, because half the police force, or maybe more than half of them, don't even live in the city of Detroit. So they come in, kick black folks around for the night, and then go back home to Grosse Pointe or Bloomfield Township or wherever they live, and have a good time until the next night when they come in, and they can kick some more black folks in the teeth and take them into the jail. You know what I'm saying? Into the prison for profit. You see what I'm saying? So what they're doing, they're offering these suburbanites all kinds of money to come back into the city. Come and live where you beat people up at. Okay? And we'll give you like $200,000 house and $25,000, this, that, and the other. And I'm totally against them giving them all that money just to come back to the city of Detroit. You know what I'm saying?
Me too.
No.
Okay, but at the same time, you may be against it. Okay, that seemed like a lot of money, but over the course of 20 years, how much money would that be brought back to the city? That one household.
But we got people here that could use the money, man.
First of all, it was federal money.
It's federal money.
It was federal money. It should have went to the people. It was actually designated for the poor people to help them put roofs on their houses.
Yeah, we got houses.
But if you could spend $200,000 and end up getting close to $800,000 from the person moving into the city.
You're gonna get a policeman that moved back into the city, into one of the houses. He's gonna take his wage, and he's gonna do whatever he does with it. He's gonna pay a little property taxes, this, that, and the other. But he probably still gonna shop wherever he shopped or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
When they was doing that before, most of the police officers came down here, rented a house, and went right on back out to the suburbs.
Just to get the money and just stayed out in the suburbs.
Then they went right back on out to the suburbs.
You got black cops. You got black police officers in the city that live in the suburbs and work in the city and live in the suburbs.
Yeah, lots of them.
I'm not going by color.
Lots of them.
People.
Yeah, lots of them. We're not saying, it's white people per se. When I say they move out to go back out to Grosse Pointe, some of them are black. Some of them, are white, etc. but it's just people that don't want to live in the city that they work in, you know.
Right. Okay. My point is, you don't like the plan. The plan's been set up. Okay. You don't like it. Other people, certain people are going to benefit from it. Why can't you benefit from it? It's already in place. Is there any way you could benefit from it?
I don't want to benefit as far as being a policeman. I'm not interested in the job at all. You know.
You have people that's already policemen. You have people that's already doing nothing, sitting at home playing Call of Duty. That could be in that house.
Exactly. They could be out getting some training.
Don't let it go to waste. Education, you got to get a position of empowerment. And just being a police officer, it don't have as much empowerment as maybe being the emergency manager.
Right.
But it does have, you do get some powers. And one of them is being able to take advantage of that plan and get into that house.
Let me tell you.
Yeah.
Education access, man, is not as easy as you make it. Like, you know, all you got to do is go out of the house and access education.
I'm not saying that it's easy. I'm saying that may be the focus. That maybe need to be the new focus in the city for the children coming up. It may take 2 generations.
Well, that's why we have. I guess that's why we had the emergency manager here, trying to straighten things out since the school board couldn't do it. You know,
they failed. They could say they didn't have the right tools. They could say a million reasons why they failed, but they failed.
Detroit got a 75% dropout rate in the public schools. So, yeah, they failed. You know, the kids didn't fail.
The flying colors.
The adults did. Okay.
Right.
Now we do have.
The problem with that is, I think that it went from grown-ups having children to children having children, and the whole structure is just kind of collapsed. Because as long as grown-ups was having children, the education was important. But when children started having children,
the education was still weak, though.
Right. But when we was coming up, it wasn't weak.
Please.
It wasn't weak for me.
When I was coming up, it was weak. I came up in the 60s and the 70s. Education system was weak. The schools and stuff were old and beat up and all this. And, you know, the books.
Well, maybe, okay, like McKenzie might have.
The books were
Redford was a state-of-the-art.
The books were outdated and they were old. They were written in.
And that's true. Maybe it depends on the school that
when I got ready to go to college.
Got the internet now.
When I got ready to go to college, man, the curriculum that I went into, electrical engineering, they started, man, with calculus. You know, when I got there, like the first math classes was calculus. When I got out of high school, I hadn't had nothing but algebra. I didn't have any trigonometry, no geometry. I didn't have any pre-calc, nothing.
But they were teaching that in other schools.
They were.
That needs to be the focus.
They were teaching that at other schools. They were teaching it at Redmond. They were teaching it at Henry Ford. They were teaching it at Cass. Yeah. But maybe it's just certain schools that they wasn't. But they were teaching those types of classes. Of course,
I'm a mathematical genius now.
Whatever.
Yeah, you're really good at math. That's why. This is my thing too. You got a lot of guys in the city and women in the city, you know, youth who qualify because of their incomes, qualify for certain grants, certain student loans and things like that. But they have no platform.
Because of their income they qualify, but their grades don't qualify them.
Their grades don't qualify. But I'm saying but they don't even have a platform to be able, or institution to be able to go into in order to use these different grants and loans and stuff like that.
Right.
What I'm saying is the people that's conscious of all this stuff have to do their part. You got to start with the person in the mirror. Okay.
Yeah.
You can't sit back and say the emergency manager's doing this.
You know what?
And they doing this and they doing that. Y'all in there.
That's
the community need to be coming together and creating if education is the focus, then let it be the focus. Let the community come together and say, we need to create this.
That's what
kind
my
of technical trade. We need to be running this through there so that we can get this loan money, get this federal money, and put it in here, and put these students through here, bring more teaching jobs as well at the same time. You see what I'm saying?
That's what my guest was just saying. Miss Wanda Akilah Redmond was just saying that we need to get together and do some things for ourselves, you know, because you're not going to get free. You're not going to get free begging and pleading and asking, okay, could you let me free, boss? Okay, he's not going to let you free. Okay, he done had you a long time. He going to sit you around till he needs you. And if he don't need you, then you can sit in the city with no money, this, that, and the other, shoot yourself to pieces until he get a use for you. Okay? That's just the way he's going to play you. Until you get together and do something for yourselves, you're going to be in bad shape. And that's just the way it is.
Look at Japan. You're talking about before.
Yeah, and we have a lot of money come through our hands.
It's hard work to do. You see what it did for Japan?
Yeah. Japan is the 51st state.
Yeah, it is. But I'm just saying, they started out a little rough. But education was always the focus.
Yeah, they fought for it, and then they got overtaken, okay? And now Japan is owned by the American Empire, basically, you know? People say that
China, the American Empire owned by China.
That's what they say. The Chinese will find out different sooner or later. I think, you know, sooner or later it's coming down to that. You know, you can loan money all day long, but at a certain point, you know, a person's going to say, "Hey, look, sorry, you loaned me that money, I can't pay it back." You know what I'm saying? Now, what are you going to do?
Yeah, I mean, it's like the mob. I don't owe you no more.
Yeah, what are you going to do?
I don't owe you no more.
Right. I don't owe you no more. What are you going to do? You feel me? You have been listening to Urban Revolution on Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com. Listener-supported radio. Hit that donate button when you can and help us out. Keep us on the air. Debbie, you got anything you want to say right quick? V-Night, anything you want to say right quick? V-Night's gone. All right, we'll see you next week. And we'll talk about the liberation movement, black liberation, getting free.
Thank you for listening to Revolution Radio.